Welcome everyone, today we have a new guide for Honkai Star Rail. Now this particular video will be focused on the 100% completion and also beginner's guide for the entire game. And as you can see behind me, we have a lot of notes covering everything included in the game, and including the items, the loots, the character leveling, the upgrade process, the free gems, and also what can you expect with each of the features of the game. So I want to go through some of the features into more details, and other features we want to touch on those so you understand what you can expect with the game at the launch. And here you can see I have listed a lot of different things you could be farming: character essential materials, different relic farming, and also different ways of playing the game weekly, and also different ways of getting 5-star weapons for free in the game. And here you can see there's more features and also even more features which provide us with more summons and also more premium currency and also more energy to play the game for free. Now, because I want to cover everything included in the game for us as a beginner, what I want to do is I also want to refer to previous notes which we touch up on the banners and also summons and also previous videos. We'll also be having a look at some of the 5-star weapons that will become available in the shops of the game, which you can buy from doing certain events in the game, and also the spiral boost, which is going to be the how forgotten, and this will be one of the major ways of us getting more premium currency for the summons in the game. So coming over to our notes. The first thing we want to touch upon is going to be the game basics. Now, Honkai Star Rail is going to be a turn-based game, and in order to engage with enemies in the open world, you want to engage enemies. And once you engage enemies, what you're going to see is you actually have a special feature for each of the characters. By selecting the skill of the character that you are controlling, you can be interacting with enemies by providing a buff to your allies or debuff to enemies. You can also weakness break them. We can also see before engaging enemies, we can see what enemies will be available, what are their levels, and what are the items they will drop for you. So this is actually quite nice. So this makes me feel like a Pokemon game, because you can run around, you can fight enemies, and you can be looting treasures, you can be looting chests. And most of the chests will be shown in the game. So here is one of the notes from our previous videos, which you can see the chest locations on each of the zones. You can see the enemies will be allocated on the minimap, and your character can loot those fight those enemies and also loot those chests. And the map also tells you how many chests you can get, and also this is one of the ways to get tons of the freebies and also currencies. Now coming back to the combat basics. Because we know this will be a turn-based game, each of the characters will be acting depending on their speed. So your speed and also enemy speed will have a big difference. Upon the turn of your character, you have 3 choices. The first choice is the normal attack, which will gain as a skill point. So we can see over here in the screenshot, the normal attack actually gains as a skill point. Now skill points can be used to cast a spell, and this is a skill. So the second choice of character has is to use a skill, and you can see the red mark showing that if you cast a skill, you can use a skill point. Now ultimate is the ability that allows us to use all the energy that has charged up. Once you have charged up energy by attacking enemies or taking damage or casting certain spells and also different effects from the game, you can cast your ultimate, which is supposed to be the strongest ability for each of the characters. Some of those gives you another turn, some of those does tremendous damage. Other ultimate can heal your entire party or give your entire party a damage boost. Now one thing you want to focus on is that the skill point system is actually shared between all the characters in a party. So the character that does normal attack gains a skill, and the next character can use his skill point to do their spell. So this is actually a bit of resource management, and it's quite important for us to understand which of the characters will be dealing normal attack to gain a spell, to gain a skill, and which of the characters will be spending them to deal damage. And this is how some of the characters can be set up for different roles. Usually supporting characters will have a higher speed, and also they will be focused on buffing the allies and also debuffing enemies. They will also be focused on gaining skill points for the DPS and the damage dealers of the party. And the damage dealing characters will be spending the skill points to do more damage, and they will also be dealing more damage using the ultimate. Now on top of the 3 choices we have with actives as we fight with enemies, we also have passives and also special perks with each of the characters. So here one of the display over here, so I took the screenshot from the character Blue over here, and this is her special passives and also unique effects. So you can see with the passive of the best healer in the game currently, the 5-star healer, when ally is attacked, they will be healing based on Blue's maximum HP, and this means when they take direct damage, they can trigger 2 times to heal, and this is actually really good defensively. And over here you can see after Blue uses her technique at the start of the battle, all the allies are invigorated for 1 turn. What that means is, on the first turn if allies take damage, they can be healed based on Blue's maximum HP. And those are some nice passive each of the characters have that push them into a certain role of the game. And characters can be arranged into different roles like the DPS characters, supporting characters, and also healers. Now as we go further, in order to understand how to make yourself stronger and also fight stronger enemies, what we're going to see is there will be certain progressions with characters, weapons, and also relics, and also account progression. So to give you guys a general summary, if you have played Genshin Impact, this should be very familiar to you. But if you haven't, I'll try to explain things in accordance. So all the character levels and everything is based on the account level. The account level will be based on the Trailblazer level, which is how much activity you do in the game. And this is usually capped. So how this is capped is, you can be doing daily quests which provide you with experience to your account. And each time you spend energy, which is generated over time, you will be gaining experience to your account. So you can see the game is designed so you can't get max level on the first day, but rather you'll be doing things that is daily and also time gated. And this way, after a few weeks, players will be progressing depending on how much resources they spend to get to high levels. And this is one of the first things that can be a little bit of trap for most of the players. Because if you spend too much energy and resource on getting energy, you may be wasting too much resource in the early game to push for high levels. And later on, when this is not a big deal, you may be having too much energy. So we'll have a special video about the traps and also the pay-to-win systems in the game, and energy is definitely one of them. Now the daily quest or the daily commissions available in the game is very similar to Genshin Impact, which you'll be provided with Jade upon completion. So the 100, 200, 300, I think both of them provide 10 Jade, and here with the 400 and 500 you get 15 Jade, which this adds up to 60 Jade per day for free when you do the daily commissions. Now you do need 160 Jade to do one summon. And this is a good time to come over to the summoning section. So what we're going to see is, if you haven't seen a previous video, make sure you come over here to this particular video. It shows some really good understanding for each of the banners available in the game. And there are 4 different banners. So instead of going through the same video twice, I recommend going back to that video and have a look. I'll have the links available for you guys. One thing you do want to notice for the banners is there will be a limited banner every 2 weeks, and limited banner will come with a limited character and also limited weapon. Both of those banners will last for 14 days, and usually a patch lasts for 28 days, and this is the way Genshin Impact rotates. Now there will be certain different rates, and I do recommend going back to the previous video because the weapon will give you a different rate for 5-star compared to the characters, and they also have different pity system. So we talk about this video in more details. So for now, just so you know, it is always better to roll on the characters banner for your 160 of your Jade. But the next question is, you can be saving your Jade, which you get from doing daily quests, which you get from a lot of events, and you can be saving a lot of those. So make a video about this, what you can be saving for, and which character can you guarantee to get after a week or 2 playing the game. Now coming back to leveling up characters. After we get our Trailblazer level high enough, we can be leveling up characters. Now characters and also light comb, which are weapons. Characters and also weapons and also relics will consume experience, and they will consume experience differently. Characters and light combs will consume a special material that is coming from the dungeons. So let's quickly jump over to one of the dungeons. And for the character dungeon, and this is the Relics Golden, I do believe this is how you pronounce it. So there are certain dungeons that you can be spending your energy or your Trailblazer energy to be consuming those to farm the dungeons to get character and also weapon experience to level up your character and also weapons. Now as we level each of the character and also weapons to every 20 levels, they will have an ascension or limit break that requires you to have certain materials to unlock that. So jumping over to the example over here to the level 1 below, the 5-star healer. You can see that when she gets to level 20, she will be required to have certain limit break or ascension materials to unlock her to the next gate. And the next level will be from level 21 to level 40. So each 20 levels will need level up materials, and those could be unlocked in certain dungeons. So coming back over here, the Stagnant Shadows is going to be one of the dungeons that can unlock different character materials. And the dungeons will rotate, so different characters might have a dungeon on a Tuesday, other characters might have on Wednesday. Usually in the weekend, you can unlock most of the dungeons to do a massive farming. Now, similar to Genshin Impact, it is quite important for us to be farming a lot of essential materials and stocking those up, because we can combine those into 3 lesser ones into a greater one, and this will help you progress much faster in the later stage of the game. And on the topic of getting stronger in the game, we can also be getting duplicated characters and also weapons, which provide additional bonus. So let's quickly have a look at the duplication of the characters, and this is called the Eidolon in Star Rail. So this was called the Constellation in Genshin Impact. So over here we have an example of one of the 3 4-star characters and his constellation of Eidolons. You can see that with each duplicate of the character, we can unlock the particular perks. And for the first perk, you can see that he can have a higher critical rate for 15% when the enemy's HP is greater than or equal to 50% of the maximum HP. So this is really nice for hitting monsters, and each of those particular perks is actually quite interesting. Now for the weapons, I do believe this one less copy. For the characters, you will take 7 copies to complete the character, and this is where the cash trap comes in. So usually you have 1 main copy of the character and 6 duplicates to unlock all 6 of the perks. And for the 4-star characters, the perks will be a little weaker, but they're still meaningful. For the 5-star characters, this is where you kind of sink in a lot of money and go crazy, some of the players, but I don't recommend doing this. If you see my Genshin Impact videos, we only have 0 constellations or no duplicates. But for the 5-star characters, they are super powerful and also even game-changing when you have the maybe the 4th or the 6th perk of the character for the duplications. But those will cost over $1,000, guys. I don't recommend it. Now there is also a similar system for the weapons duplication. So quickly coming over to some of the weapons, and you can see each of the weapons, there are 5 categories of writings. So this means you can get 6 different duplicated weapons, and their stats and also effect will go up. And we'll talk about the 5-star free weapons very soon. Now, compared to Genshin Impact, there is a new system in Honkai Star Rail, and this is the traces or the skill tree passive system. So over here, it is actually quite interesting. We can see one of the skill trees for one of the characters in the game, and this one is Danton. So you can see that you can start to unlock certain skills or passive that provide you with attack bonus damage, elemental damage, defensive stats. Or you can be leveling up certain skills, and when you level up those certain skills, you can be doing additional damage depending on certain instances and also certain effects. And this allows you to uniquely perk your character at the start of the game. But of course, at a later stage of the game, you'll have enough of those resources to be able to level everything and also get all the perks for the characters. Now briefly going over to the Relic system. The Relic system is similar to the artifact system in Genshin Impact. There will be the main stats, sub-stats, and also the set effect. The stats can be upgraded from level 1 to level 15. Each of the 3 level intervals, you will gain a boost of the sub-stat. And if you do want to see more guide on the Relics, do see our previous video on the full guide for the Relics for more details. And you can see different sets and what are some of the very broken stats in some of those sets. So I do recommend going back to that video. So briefly talking about the relics, there will be 6 different relics. There are 4 outer ones and also 2 inner ones. You will have to farm different dungeons for those relics. So the 4 outer ones are the gloves, the helmet, the boots, and also the chest, I believe. And there will be 2 of the planetary ornament relics in the other tier, which you'll farm different dungeons. And yes, this is a good time to coming over to some of the dungeons in the game. So we have talked about the dungeons for farming, for character, and also weapon experience. Usually this is not a priority, and you tend to want to use your energy on items that provide you with upgrades and also ascensions. So the other dungeons we have is going to be the Tracer upgrade materials, and those are the materials that you can see over here to level up the skills for your Tracers and also for your skill tree. For each of the characters, they will require different materials, so keep in mind. Those loots will also be changing each of the day. Next up, we have the character ascension materials. This is after getting your character to every 20 levels, and there will be a dungeon for this to be farming for those. Next up, we have a relic farming dungeon, which you'll be farming for different grid of relics. This can go from the blue ones, 3 stars, 4 star for the purple ones, and also 5 star for the legendary relics. Again guys, go over to the relic video, you can see there's a big difference between legendary relics and also the purple relics. The stats are pretty much doubled for those relics. Now coming over to some of the unique dungeons and also features for Star Rail. One of the first one we have is the Echoes of War. This is a weekly challenge that can only be attempted 3 times a week. And what is recommended is that we wait for the end of the week for the levels of our characters and also accounts to be higher. Because the higher level you are, the difficult challenges you take, the more loots you get. Also, depending on the certain loots, you might need some of the loots over other loots. So you might be going from one dungeon multiple times over one of the other dungeons. And those loots can be very essential in leveling up for the latest stage of the skills for the skill tree over here, for the retraces. So do keep in mind, you do want to wait a little bit before you do those dungeons. So at the start of the week, you don't want to use those, because at the end of the week, you might be having too many resources for one particular item, and you might be on the shortage for other items. Now the second weekly event that is available in Star Rail is gonna be the Simulated Universe, and this is one is actually pretty good, because as you do the Simulated Universe, you'll be accumulating weekly points, and the more weekly points you get, the more loots, premium currencies, and also special currencies you can get. And this is when you can come over to Heta's stores, and in the Heta store, I'll show you guys over here, you can be getting 3 different 5-star weapons that is available in the game, and they're very good. And one can be getting multiple copies of those weapons, and this can be a very good way to get very strong in the game. So it is definitely recommended to be doing Simulated Universe to get as many weekly points as we can to get all the freebies and also all the loots. Now in this particular event, we also have the additional jobs for the 2 set of the relics. So we talked about previously, the relics over here, which we can see over here, the relics over here will only have 4 different relics. The last 2 pieces of the relics are also dropped over here in the Simulated Universe. So those are the planetary ornaments, and there are 2 pieces of those. Now as we go further, we get to see the Spiral Abuse, and this time it's called the Memory of Chaos. So Spiral Abuse was the name in Genshin Impact. And similar to the Spiral Abuse, the Memory of Chaos will have 2 different stages. One is where you play the game once and clear out for the freebies and also the currencies. The second one is you play the resetting the harder stages, which reset every few days. And you can see this one, they will reset every 10 days. And for those ones, you'll be farming for the premium currencies. And the Memory of Chaos is also said to be the endgame content to be challenging the players. Now before we finish, let's quickly touch up on some of the ways you can be getting premium currencies and also for free. So one of the good ways to get more currencies is to level up your character level or the Trailblazer level. If you come over to Pom Pom, the NPC you see at the start, so this is like the commission lady for Genshin Impact, you can be getting different summons, standard summons, Stellar Jade, which is a premium currency for summons, and also energy refills as you level up. And you can see here each of the levels you can be getting different items. And similarly, you can be getting a lot of premium currencies as you do each of the events that is available permanently in the game. And also we can be expect additional premium currency to be given in live events that is rotated with each of the updates. So this is very similar to Genshin Impact, and what I want to do is, in order to give you guys a better summary, I want to make future videos which summarizes all the ways to get additional premium currencies in each of the patch and how much you can earn. And also, make sure you have a look at our summoning videos for more information on the banner rotations and also additional raids for 5 stars. Now hopefully you guys found this video helpful. I know it's a little long and I try to cover everything that's related to the game, and some parts I might be skipping a little bit because I assume you guys know a little bit. I'll be making more videos on each of those parts, including the late game and also farming and also getting more freebies and also more currencies, and also how to get more 5 stars. So stay tuned for additional video, and quite excited for the game, and best of luck guys for summoning your 5 stars. And if you're summoning from the limited character, we'll have a special video to compare what is going to be available in the first 14 days and who is going to be available next in the next 14 days. We'll have a video for this one for you guys very soon. Now before you go, and if you guys didn't know, we have a new YouTube channel. And if you guys haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe and check out the behind the scenes and also fun clips and also more stories about us. And then you get to know me a little more personally instead of just reading the news and also the games, right? So I want to share a little bit more with you guys. So make sure you check this channel out if you're interested about Matt and also Uni. She's really funny too, and she's really shy. So I want to give her a surprise and do a shout out for the new channel to get some subscribers. Thank you guys. I'll see you guys next time.